Hello, I'm Natasha Castellan and welcome to the Artist Chat Room where I share with you about my personal artist journey. Now I'd like to apologise. Last week I did not put out a video. Basically I have been so sick. As you know, we had a wedding coming up. Then my husband and I went to Adelaide to see our beautiful fourth grandson, and we were there for a couple of weeks, but unfortunately they were very sick and they shared with us, so sweet of them, uh, their virus, and that made me quite unwell. So I do apologize. But I have got a sketchbook tour to show you today, and I don't know about you guys, but my favorite thing to watch on YouTube, arty wise, are sketchbook tours. I find them fascinating what people put inside, and it gives me ideas about what I might like to do. So I hope you enjoy this. This is a Soho Urban Artist Grey brick. They're called a brick sketchbook. It's a 5.5 inch square book, but when you open it up, and what's lovely about this, it opens up nice and flat and it gives you a nice length. So that would make it what, 11 by 5.5 inches. So I hope you enjoy this sketchbook tour. It's only halfway through. It's a really big sketchbook actually. It's 80 pages, so it wasn't cheap to buy, but I think value for money considering it's 80 pages. But personally I prefer a smaller one because I get to go through them quicker, and it's very exciting starting a new one. And I've got a new one smaller one upstairs waiting, and I won't start it until I finish this one. Anyway, let's turn this around and get going. Okay, so here's the Soho Urban Artist brick book. It is 5.5 by 5.5 inches. It is a really big sketchbook. There's 80 pages, which is great and not so great. Great because it's value for money. Not so great because it takes forever to fill up, and I love coming to the end of a sketchbook. So that is one of the reasons why we're doing only half a sketchbook today. It is on grey paper, so this is the grey paper. What is lovely is it's nice and flat. So let's get going and seeing what I've done. So first drawings were some possums. It was, wow, 2024. So you can see how long it is taking me to fill up half a sketchbook. I was working on other sketchbooks at the same time, obviously. Some possums. We were staying somewhere for Christmas, and they had these beautiful photos of possums on the walls, and I used them as inspirations to create these lovely little drawings. And then I looked on my phone for some. Then I didn't draw anything till June. So that was, what did I say that was? December, 27th of December, and then June. So 6 months later, I thought, oh, I might stay in that Australiana animal thing. This is a billy, a possum. And then I was at art school with the kids, and they were doing this painting, and I created this one with them as a demo. And I also did this. The kids did a painting of a toucan. Love actually the way the toucan came up on this color. Some reason this one is too dark, but this one turned out lovely. Vase of flowers that I had at that time at home. I like that you can change the orientation of this. Some bin chickens, or ibises as they're called, but Australians tend to call them bin chickens because you'll always find them rummaging through the bin. Now this is a great exercise I did with the kids. It's color mixing. It is kids paint, so it wasn't a good quality paint, and obviously this paper is grey, so it doesn't come out. But this was ultramarine, warm yellow and white, and we just tried to make quite a few different colours out of those 3 colours. Then we had phthalo and warm yellow and white. So you can see how this is quite dirty and muddy, and now they're not quite so dirty and muddy. And then we did lemon yellow and phthalo, which is quite cleaner in the sense, more pure green, more saturated. And then the lemon yellow and the ultramarine and white. So these were interesting. I actually really like these more muted, lighter tones that are coming through, but that is a great exercise to try and see how many colors you can make. Just doing some drawings from some images I found on Pinterest. Got into the fish thing. All those patterns of the fish were really fun to do. Then I did, these are all from images just on Pinterest that when I was sitting, waiting between classes, between my kids and my adult classes, doing some pen work. I don't know what happened there. It's interesting, some of it that's come up here, and I quite like it behind the poinsettia. Then recently we were at the Gold Coast Airport. There's some people from the airport waiting at the airport with pencil drawings. Then I got sick of people were moving around too much, so I pulled out my Pinterest board and found some images to draw from there, which is fun. I like these legs, the legs and the shoes. That's not that greatly done, but it was fun to do. And that was all at the airport. And we flew Virgin Australia, and that was on the plane. I think there was a magazine at my daughter's house, and there was these photos of people gardening, and I drew them. I think that was still in that gardening magazine, and then I thought I'd get creative and do my own thing, which is always a bit of a challenge because without a reference picture you don't always do as well, but that's okay. We do what we do. Got into this chair thing, so I think I had some chairs earlier on. See how nicer that, like that, this page is just boring, and that just pops in comparison. Some aloe vera, with, I think, my grandson's textures and crayons. And then we went to a community garden down there. It was so lovely. I had hoped that we would get down there more often, but they're not open every day for the public. And I enjoyed that morning. And again, with the grandson's textures. Yeah, very bad kangaroo, little wombat. Really like the wombat. That's with my variegated pencil. He is cute as a button. Love that. And then he had a book called Wombat Stew, and I drew some of the pictures from Wombat Stew. They were really fun stories, fun story for kids, and lovely fun Australian animals. I love the bit of colour. I used the pencil that I've got 4 colours coming through it. I think it's downstairs, so it's not up here. The emu. These are all from Wombat Stew. I think this is a couple of days later. I was still at my daughter's. Very few art supplies. I either used my grandson's art supplies or my pen and pencil. I think this was my art supply. It's amazing what you can find on Pinterest. I think this was from my imagination. That was on Pinterest, and then I just love figs, so I had to write that because I love figs. This was, we were waiting for our taxi at one point to take us to the airport, and that was the house across the road. And oh yeah, I was drawing, just having a go. I don't know if you can see that. This is like a lady's bottom and her foot and her leg. It ended up being a painting. I'll bring it over. So I don't know if you can see that. This is a woman squatting down, and that's her bottom and her feet. I was just trying to see how that would look. I should actually write down what that is, because in the future I won't remember. And that is half of my book, all done. Now that took me since December till September to complete. So it may take a while to complete the other half, probably because I don't love the grey, but I do love that it sits flat. Also don't like it kind of gets wrecked, and I think it would be worthwhile to varnish seal somehow the cover. But in general, I really enjoyed my time in this sketchbook. Really, really, really like the fun way this pops against the grey. This one is a lovely, pretty, very pretty, and I love the bin chickens. But probably my favourite in here would have to be the fish, like that page. There was a real mindfulness in making them, and that one particularly looks good because of the contrast. But yeah, let me know which one you loved. So I hope you enjoyed that sketchbook tour. It is the first half. It may take me a little while to do the second half. Hopefully not as long as it took me to do the first half, because between those first couple of pages there was a big gap. But anyway, it's like that sometimes. I did have lots of other sketchbooks that were on the go at the same time. I try not to have too many, because I find finishing them is a huge satisfaction for me, and starting new ones is something I love to do. So I've got a lovely little one upstairs waiting for me at the moment. So that's a great incentive to finish this one. Anyway, if you enjoyed this sketchbook tour, give me a thumbs up. If you've been watching for a while and you keep coming back, do consider subscribing. I'd appreciate that. And a couple of weeks ago, I asked where people are watching from. Love to hear where you're watching from. Love to hear where, how far this little video of mine can get to. So I'll see you in a fortnight, and I hope you guys have a really creative week. Bye for now.